I first learned that wildfires affected me. When I first learned about it was probably when I was a kid, and you'd see those Smokey the Bear ads, like, um, you can prevent forest fires. And I was like, me? My name is Maddie Gallant, and I'm passionate about the earth and the environment. But yeah, it is all in each of us. We all have our own civilian duty to take care of the earth that we've been put on. I think that when I really started to take notice was when it started popping up in the news, what felt like every few months, that this continent was burning, this state was burning, the first really devastating one I remember was Australia. I remember seeing the footage of like little koalas and the trees were burning and people were just like running, like carrying them, trying to save every single one that they could. And then they talk about all the ones that they couldn't save. They'd be like, well, this many animals died today, and that was just horrifying. And I know the same thing happens to California. Have I done anything to be personally proactive about wildfires? I mean, I try to stay informed. I try to do my research. I try to keep myself in the loop. You can sign up for newsletters. Research is a really big part of it, because without being informed, you can't really talk about it. Or it's hard to have those productive conversations when you can't back up what you're saying. And I feel like, I don't know, personally, there's definitely more I could be doing, but I feel like that's something in future years, especially when I have more time, I would love to devote more time being engaged in this. And if you can even just talk about it, I feel like that helps. You'd be surprised how many people are unaware of how much wildfires actually impact us and our climate. I try to do my small civic duty of, reduce, reuse, recycle, try to use eco-friendly products whenever I can, try to reduce waste as much as possible. But I still think a lot of it falls on the individual when it should fall more on corporations and companies, and we need to take it upon ourselves to hold them accountable instead of holding every little person accountable for that one time they use a plastic straw instead of a metal straw, or throw something away that they could have recycled. I think we need to direct that anger towards corporations and start addressing them directly, which is something I would like to get into as soon as possible.
Hi, I'm Farmer Jen. I'm the lead farmer and educator here at Good Pickin' Farm in Westford, Massachusetts. Our environmental impact is very important to me, and it's something that I have strived for a long time in my life to appreciate the relationship between our ecosystem and farming impact. So here at Good Pickin' Farm, we are a non-herbicide and pesticide garden use. So we use other techniques. We use a deep bed mulch system so that we can suppress weeds without using any herbicides in our garden. So we utilize wood chips. We thankfully have a neighbor who's an arborist, supplies us with a ton of wood chips. We also use our animals to compost. So we have chickens, we have sheep, alpacas, cow, goats, and ducks that all we give our scraps and weeds that do grow in the garden, and whenever we are rotating crops, we feed to our livestock along with their just regular waste. So we utilize their waste byproduct as compost. Other ways, we always recycle. We do run a school here on the property, so we do create quite a bit of waste, unfortunately, and we try and instill with our students as much as we can to recycle. They also compost their food scraps and stuff like that. It is something that we want to get better at, so that is something that we will strive for in the future. I don't know that we have enough planning in mind, and that's definitely my fault or my responsibility. We have, like I mentioned before, 15 horses on the property. That would be probably the hardest animal to get moved if we were to have a forest fire. We do have a lot of trees on the property. There are fire breaks on the property, so none of our buildings actually have too many trees that are close, but flames can jump. So it is also highly unlikely here in New England that we do get forest fires, because we have so many houses and natural fire breaks from roads and things like that, that it just doesn't occur as frequently as out in the western part of the US, where you have large tracts of land with very arid climate. Here we have a lot of rain. Almost all of our boarders, so the people that keep their horses here that they own, that we don't own, they're called boarders, they all own their own horse trailer. And I think we would end up having to call all of them to get their horses removed, and any other horses that we could fit into their trailer. Most trailers fit 2 to 3 horses at a time. So if all of our boarders own a trailer, and we own one trailer as well, but it's not big enough to hold all of our livestock. But I also have a lot of friends who are farmers as well that we could call in. But yeah, I think removal of animals is most important. Sometimes it's just removing them from a structure that is most likely to catch on fire to an area that is out in the open, that they're not likely to be injured. And also we have a lot of hoses and hydrants around our whole property. So if push comes to shove, you grab a hose and you start spraying things down to keep everything wet and less likely to catch on fire.